All right, the next step that we're going to talk about is doing field measurements. Samples. So after you've taken your samples, then you would, if your water management program requires it, or if the customer wants to know certain information, then temperature is a good item to measure. So the one thing you want to do is you want to run your water until its temperature stabilizes. So you hold it under here, you get a good temperature, just kind of wait for it to stop moving upwards. If you need to increase the amount of volume of water, fine. Let's just say we're at about 109.5. So once we're done with that, then you come over here and you fill that information in. So this is with the faucet here. You want to put the temperature, which is right here. You want to put that in 109.5 that we just measured and put it in that slot. And then the next thing we're going to discuss is chlorine, taking your chlorine readings. Everyone's going to be different. There are different types of disinfectants out there, from chlorine, free and total chlorine. You have monochloramine, chloramine, chlorine dioxide. But for the sake of this video, we're going to be discussing just how to do free chlorine. So first thing you want to do is take your vial. You want to rinse it out a few times. And then we're going to try to get to the spot that's on the vial, the 10 mil spot where the meniscus is, right? You want to make sure that it's right about where it needs to be. It's pretty close. So come over here. Want to clean the outside of the vial because that can disrupt the readings on our particular meter. Put the cap back on here and then run it. We're going to do a zeroing out with the diamond facing us. Zero it out first. And then the next thing we can do is there are two different types of measurements, reagents that you can use. Either most commonly used is a free chlorine packet, or there is the Swift test, which is essentially 250 of these inside of a vial that's inside of this unit. So I like to use these, but others, you can use the pillow packets. So once you do your zeroing, like we said already, come over here, you drop your reagent inside. So usually you want to see it turn like a pink color. So this city is on uses chloramine. So what I might do is change that, and we may measure total chlorine in a second. Make sure you wipe the vial clean. Make sure there's not any air bubbles that you can see, so that can disrupt the reading. You put this over top of it and then hit read. And then you record what the measurement shows. If you're wanting to measure total chlorine, then from the previous video we were measuring free. So if you're wanting to measure total, again, just same thing as the free chlorine. There are pillow packets that you can use, just like this, or you can use the Swift tester, which is essentially 250 tests in one. So what you would do is you would fill the line up just like you did free chlorine up to the 10 mil sample, and then you dump in the proper reagent. You make sure that you swish it around to mix up the reagent properly to where it dissolves as much as you possibly can. And then usually within about 30 seconds on free chlorine you want to measure. And then with total chlorine, it's a little bit different, is that you fill it in, fill the reagent in, you put the cap back over the top, and then, or the cover back over the top, and then you hit the options, and then start timer, and then there's a 3-minute timer that you want to do on total chlorine. And so we run that all the way through till it's complete, and then once it's complete, it'll beep, and then you would hit read. Okay, so And for this example, I'm just going to hit the read for right now, but usually we wait for that 3 minutes on total chlorine. And then once you get your reading from there, then you would want to come over here and record it on your sheet as field data. So we had already had 0.03 on the free, and then as of what we have recorded right now is 0.14. So that is what we have. Let's just assume that is that after 3 minutes. And then you would record that on your field data. And when the report comes to back to you, you'll actually have the full name on here, all these details, and you'll have the field data as well that will be on your report. Depending upon what additional items that you want to measure out in the field, there is a multimeter right here that is a Myron L UltraMeter. There's different variations of this, but this particular one you can measure conductivity, resistivity, total dissolved solids, ORP, free chlorine, and pH. And so I'd say the common items that potentially could be read out in the field as field data would be probably pH, ORP, and maybe conductivity. So if you are wanting to measure that, then again, you want to turn your water on, rinse this out a few times, and then just again, and then if you want to fill up both sides, and then you measure your conductivity. Okay, you switch it for a second, and then you document what your conductivity is. Do the same thing for pH, and then make sure that's stabilized. And then you can do the same thing for ORP, and just make sure that's stabilized. And then once you get the information of the items that you want there, then you will take it over to here, and then you would document whatever those items that you have. Let's say you wanted to record pH and you wanted to record ORP. You put ORP right here, and you put the 212, and you put the 7.33 that we had on the pH.